Welcome to another episode of How I Made This Banger. Today we're going to be talking about the FERG track P.O.L.O or P.O.L.O. Let's get into it. So this beat I made in June of this year, and it happened pretty quickly. As I say in my Metaphysics of Music course, you have to always trust your first take. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So in order to make a banger, you have to be able to harness the energy that comes right away. Meaning, don't spend too much time choosing your sounds. Don't spend too much time analyzing. Music comes from your heart. It doesn't come from your brain. If you make music from your brain, it's going to suck. So with this banger, P.O.L.O, Ferg had told me about a month earlier he was working on this project. So I was already preparing, and my goal was to make 5 to 7 beats a day to just get warmed up to get in the process to start working with him. And this beat came out when I was really in a good momentum, and I was like, once I made this beat, I was like, all right, this is a banger. I was like, this is going to be an impactful track. Moved to my new crib from Hamilton Heights to Washington Heights, and Ferg pulled up when we got everything ready. And what I did differently was, instead of showing him a bunch of beats, I had already went through the recent beats that I had, and I already had this one in mind because I was listening to it day after day, seeing if it lasted. One way you can choose if it's a banger or not is after you make it, there's that initial excitement, but if you're able to keep listening to it again and again, and it keeps bringing forth that same excitement, it's a banger, it's going to last. So I kept getting that feeling, and then we came up to the studio here, and I think this was like the first beat that I played. And instead of playing a bunch of beats, I could tell he was already feeling it, and he was already starting to write to it. So sat with the energy. Ferg wrote P.O.L.O. He was ready to record almost immediately, starting to lay down stuff, and we finished the track pretty quickly, and I was like, it's a banger, only bangers. Only bangers lifestyle. That's what it is. You decide it's a banger, you trust, you don't think about it, and you act. You take action, and you take massive action. So if I want to break down the beat, that was all the metaphysical aspect of just how the song came about, from the beat to the song. But the beat breakdown, I made this in June, going back to what I was talking about. I had made, 20 beats or something for Ferg in preparation for this project. And when I made this track, pulled up an Ableton session. I don't use any templates. I always start everything fresh. I've got like maybe 4 drum kits that I use. So the beat is pretty simple for P.O.L.O. Started with, this kit that I have saved. I made this kit November 10th, 2024. Started off with drums. I usually start beats in this arrangement in session view in Ableton because it just enables me to be more free. So it started off with drums. And what did I add? I added an 808. So this was a mistake. I had an 808 set up right here, and then I had an Omnisphere sound also chosen that I didn't know. And they were both activated at the same time. So they were both playing together, but I just left it because it sounded cool. So just left that right there. I added some strings. I've got a lot of familiar instruments that is signature to my style, and there's a lot of instruments. There's specific instruments that I'm using on Ferg's project to make it cohesive and help blend everything together. And a lot of it's orchestral instruments, strings, brass, timpani, bells. So I added the cello next. But as you see here, I freestyled the first take of everything so I can capture everything. So I go here, and you'll notice all these other little pieces here. And I even did stuff after this. But what I remembered, I always go into acting really quickly and then deciding what I'm going to use. So after I had done this, I knew I wanted to use this, so I just looped this and kept it moving. And then after that, I added some Trillion synth. We got some good stuff here. It's got great stuff. It's like a bass, but I used it more like a synth. And then after that, added some timpani and bells. Kept it simple. You don't need too much. I used to always add a lot to the beats, but working with FERG, I really realized I gotta leave that space. You gotta leave space for the artist, because the artist's voice is the primary instrument. You as the producer have to create the space, and then you can use the details to create changes that don't come back. Like, I don't have the timpani all the time. I don't have the bells all the time. I don't have all these instruments all the time. The only thing that's consistent are the drums and the 808 and that weird synth. I get the piano. Then after the piano, we get the French horn, which is where the hook is. So there we go. Then we got the hook on it, and then it's done. Make sure to go stream that. P.O.L.O. Only Bangers Lifestyle. You know what it is.
P.O.L.O. P.O.L.O. Only on both way horse, my take is just say P.O.L.O.